was young, and when the gods walked on the earth, there reigned over the island of Cyprus a sculptor king and king of sculptors named Pygmalion. In the language of our own day, we should call him wedded to his art. In women he only saw the bane of man. Women, he believed, lured men from the paths to which their destiny called them. While man walked alone, he walked free. He had given no hostages to fortune. Alone, man could live for his art, could combat every danger that beset him, could escape unhampered from every pitfall in life. But woman was the ivy that clings to the oak and throttles the oak in the end. No woman, thought Pygmalion, should ever hamper him. And so at length he came to hate women, and free of heart and mind, his genius wrought such great things that he became a perfect sculptor. He had one passion, a passion for his art, and that sufficed him. Out of great rough blocks of marble he would hew the most perfect semblance of man and of woman, and of everything that seemed to him most beautiful and the most worth preserving. When we look now at the Venus of Milo, at the Diana of Versailles, and at the Apollo Belvedere in the Vatican, we can imagine what were the greater things that the sculptor of Cyprus freed from the dead blocks of marble. One day, as he chipped and chiseled, there came to him, like the rough sketch of a great picture, the semblance of a woman. How it came he knew not, only he knew that in that great mass of pure white stone there seemed to be imprisoned the exquisite image of a woman that he must set free. Slowly, gradually, the woman came. Soon he knew that she was the most beautiful thing that his art had ever wrought. All that he had ever thought that a woman should be, this woman was. Her form and features were all most perfect, and so perfect were they that he felt very sure that, had she been a woman indeed, most perfect would have been the soul within. For her he worked as he had never worked before. There came, at last, a day when he felt that another touch would be an insult to the exquisite thing he had created. He laid his chisel aside and sat down to gaze at the perfect woman. the softest of pillows, he laid the beautiful head of the marble woman that he loved. So the time wore on until the festival of Aphrodite drew near. Smoke from the many altars curled out to sea. The odor of incense mingled with the fragrance of the great pine trees, and garlanded victims lowed and bleated as they were led to the sacrifice. As the leader of his people, Pygmalion faithfully and perfectly performed all his part in the solemnities, and at last he was left beside the altar to pray alone. Never before had his words faltered as he laid his petitions before the gods, but on this day he spoke not as a sculptor king, but as a child who was half afraid of what he asked. "O Aphrodite," he said, "who can do all things, give me, I pray you, one like my Galatea for my wife." "Give me my Galatea," he dared not say, but Aphrodite knew well the words he would fain have uttered, and smiled to think how Pygmalion at last was on his knees. In token that his prayer was answered, 3 times she made the flames on the altars shoot up in a fiery point, and Pygmalion went home, scarcely daring to hope, not allowing his gladness to conquer his fear. The shadows of evening were falling as he went into the room that he had made sacred to Galatea. On the purple-covered couch she lay, and as he entered it seemed as though she met his eyes with her own. Almost it seemed that she smiled at him in welcome. He quickly went up to her, and kneeling beside her, he pressed his lips on those lips of chilly marble. So many times he had done before, and always it was as though the icy lips that could never live sent their chill right through his heart. But now it seemed to him that the lips were no longer cold. He felt one of the little hands, and no more did it remain heavy and cold and stiff in his touch, but lay in his own hand, soft and living and warm. He softly laid his fingers on the marble hair, and lo, it was soft and wavy burnished golden hair of his desire. Again, reverently, as he had laid his offerings that day on the altar of Venus, Pygmalion kissed her lips, and then did Galatea, with warm rosy cheeks, widely open her eyes, like pools in a dark mountain stream on which the sun is shining, and gaze with timid gladness into his own. There are no after-tales of Pygmalion and Galatea. We only know that their lives were happy, and that to them was born a son, Paphos, from whom the city sacred to Aphrodite received its name. Perhaps Aphrodite may have smiled sometimes to watch Pygmalion, once the scorner of women, the adorning servant of the woman that his own hands had first designed.